Week 2 of the NFL season is underway, so it's time to look at the best bets for Sunday's matchups. And on this week's edition of Hitting the Books, we're going to chop it up with one of my favorite sports betting content creators. She joins us from north of the border in Vancouver, the great Shantelle Chand.
Thanks so much for having me, Dex.
I'm always glad to, always glad to have you here, always glad to talk some betting, especially around the NFL. We haven't done this in a while, so it's good to do this. All right, we're going to start off with the Giants visiting the Cardinals. The G-Men, they are coming off a beatdown by the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night, while the Cards, they are also 0-1 after losing to the Commanders in Week 1. The Giants, they are 4-point favorites in this one, over under 39.5. Shantelle, are you betting Big Blue to bounce back, or are you rolling with the home team here?
Listen, Brian Daboll, he's going to have his squad ready for Week 2 because we all know what happened Week 1. You get embarrassed on national television by one of your rivals. I don't see Week 2 going like that. The Cardinals offensively can really move the ball up and down the field. Josh Dobbs did struggle. And then you take a look at the Giants offense, and we know that there's weapons there. And I think they're going to be unleashed in Week 2 because they're coming into Week 2 mad as hell. And listen, Arizona has a sneaky good defense. I believe they had 6 sacks in Week 1, but I just think the Giants, this offense is going to shine in Week 2 against the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals offense isn't going to be able to keep up with the G-Men, so I'm going to lay the points with the Giants.
All right, laying the points with the Giants. Giants bouncing back in Week 2, yeah. They're going to be really mad. I'm intrigued to see how they come out here, Shantelle. Now, the Jets, they're coming off of their high of their overtime victory over the Bills on Monday night, but they did have the low of losing Aaron Rodgers for the season. Gangrene, they are also on the road. They're battling the team that shut down the Giants. That would be the Cowboys. Dallas is an 8.5-point favorite here. If you like the Jets' money line, it's a tantalizing plus 350, and the over-under here is 38.5. Do you trust the Jets to cover here as road dogs, or is there another play that you have in mind?
I think it would be asking a lot for the Jets to win this game, but if you're asking me, are they going to cover? We know how good this Dallas defense is. 7 sacks last week. They showed out against the Giants, but it is Week 2, and the one thing that the Jets do really well, they run the ball very, very well. Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, that's a great two-back tandem. And Breece Hall had about over 12 yards per carry in Week 1. He was absolutely amazing. And then you take a look at this Jets defense, and they are absolutely solid. One of the best defenses in the entire league. You got Quinnen Williams, Carl Lawson, Sauce Gardner. And I don't think Dallas is going to be able to move the ball offensively up and down the field against this Jets defense. So I think the Jets are going to hang in there. I think Dallas gets the win, but I'm going to take the Jets to cover this one.
All right, got the Jets covering this one. Dallas 8.5-point favorites, as I mentioned in the Week 2 matchup. We got an AFC East battle on Sunday Night Football. 1-0 Dolphins visit the 0-1 Patriots. Miami and their explosive offense, they are 3-point favorites here. What's your best bet for this matchup?
Well, the Patriots, they are still looking for their first win of the season. But if you go back to that game against the Eagles, if they didn't make a few mistakes and interception, you might say that they're 1-0 because they played really well defensively against the Eagles. But as for Miami, we know that this offense is absolutely potent. And Tua Tagovailoa, my favorite stat for this one, he's 4-0 against Bill Belichick and his Patriots. That is a crazy stat. We saw Tua ball out. This offense is absolutely stacked when you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the other side. So you know that they're going to ball out in this one. I do think Mac Jones played pretty well in Week 1 and the Patriots offense looked decent, but I just think when it comes to offense that Miami is going to do its thing and they're going to outplay the Patriots offense. So I'm going to lay the points here with the Miami Dolphins. I think they get the W.
Last thing, Shantelle, speaking of prop bets for our sports bettors out there, are there any player props that you love for Week 2?
Bijan Robinson, I think he's going to be one of the most exciting players to watch all season long. We saw what he did in Week 1. His over-under on the ground, 57.5. I'm going to take the under in this one because the Packers actually played really good rush defense in Week 1. They only allowed about 4 yards per carry, so I like the under there. But for receiving yards, he set to his over-under at 18.5. I'm going to take the over for Bijan Robinson on the receiving yards because he looked pretty comfortable with Desmond Ridder. And I also really like Josh Allen on the over for passing yards. It's set to 259.5. I know that's a very high number, but against the Raiders, I know the Raiders secondary is better. I mean, Nate Hobbs, you added Marcus Peters, but I just take a look at this Bills offense, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to really control a guy like Stephon Diggs or even a guy like Gabe Davis. I think Josh Allen and this Bills offense is going to have their day.
All right, I like that Bijan pick over the 18.5 receiving yards there. That's a good one. That's a really good one there. It might be a good play for the sports bettors out there. That is Shantelle Chand, one of the best sports betting content creators out there. Check out her work. Shantelle, always good to talk some NFL betting with you. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks for having me, Dex. It was fun.